Welcome, welcome, welcome. Addison, Texas. That is on our list today. How much do we need to earn in order to purchase a home in Addison, Texas? That is what we're covering today. All right, so as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. It's going to help get the word out that this live stream is going, and also hitting up the replay. So let me know. Are you from Addison? Are you considering moving to Addison? Where does Addison, Texas fit into your life? I guess is the best way of saying that. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Jaime Resendez, and I am here to do a little bit of math with you, do a little bit of real estate math with you, where in this channel, what we do is we give you everything that you'll need to know about the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and beyond, but mostly Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We get into real estate, we get into cost of living, we talk property taxes, we talk about everything in between. But today, our mission is how much do we need to earn in order to purchase a home in the great city of Addison, the restaurant capital of Texas. I forget the statistics specifically, but if you're looking for a great night on the town, if you're looking for great restaurants, if you're looking for really just some good entertainment, Addison's where it's at. With that being said, this is not an Addison, just a global Addison video. This is more of how much you need to earn in order to purchase a home in Addison. So that's what we need to get into right now. So let's begin. All right, so our very first place that we land in is Altos Research. Altos is a free website. You do not have to pay them a dime. It is linked down below, and this is where we start all of our salary videos. So every time that we cover a specific city that we're looking to purchase a home in, and we give the salary expectations, in other words, how much you need to earn in order to be able to afford a home in the city. We land here because of so much real-time data. So we're, again, it is linked down below. So make sure that you go and check that out. So let's begin. This week, the median list price for Addison is $687,450. Now, we're not going to use this specific number, but it's good to understand what's happening right now when it comes to the median list price. So what homes are being listed for right now. That's one number that we look at while we're doing this breakdown. Another number that we look at is their market action index, which essentially is saying, is this a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? If it's a seller's market, that means there's not as much inventory. So sellers can get a little bit more choosy, can get a little bit more selective, and have a bit more leverage. Now, if it's a buyer's market, it's the opposite. Buyer, in this sense, there is a surplus of inventory if it's a buyer's market, so the buyers can get a little choosy, a little selective on the homes that they would like to purchase. So for them, generally, that means that there's more options. That means that the leverage is more on the buyer's side. That's the big difference. So as you can see here, and the indicator that Altos gives us, we're still in a seller's market. So the general rule of thumb right now, at least right here at this point in time, at the time of this recording, which is the summer of 2024, Addison happens to be in a seller's market, and the closer that you get into the central part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, which Addison happens to be in, it's more of a seller's market. Why is that? Well, most of the city has already been, actually Addison has straight up been built out. You cannot fit another house in the city of Addison. So the inventory is constrained. Now, as far as you get further away from the central part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex into the areas that have more land to build homes in, then you start seeing a bit more of a swing into a buyer's market because there's more inventory from homes that are being resold and also from builders putting new inventory on the ground. So there's more options for the buyers, as a general rule of thumb. All right, now the real reason that we're here in this particular website, again, Altos Research, it's free for you to use. Just click on the link down below and you'll be there, is it gives you a really good snapshot of different price points. And these price points are correlated to the type of home that you're looking to purchase. And it says so much. As you continue doing your research, it's a really good snapshot version. So let's just say if you're looking between Addison and Grapevine, and let's see, Denton, those cities typically have similar characteristics in terms of entertainment scenes, in terms of more recreational Well, no, let's keep it at entertainment scenes. If you're looking at those three cities specifically, Grapevine, Denton, and Addison, I would use this website. I would just open up different tabs up here, and I would populate each one and see, all right, what's the price point? What type of size, what type of square footage do we have? What type of lot size? What type of beds and baths? And then I see that comparison. So you can quickly see if your budget is in line with any one of those cities. And it gives you a really good snapshot of, all right, well, I wanted to live in Denton, but you know what? Maybe I'm priced out. Actually, vice versa, because Denton's going to be less expensive than Addison. So I wanted to live in Addison, but maybe I'm priced out, so I might go over to Denton, right? So this is why I like going here. And as you can see, on the higher end, when it comes to the quadrants, this is based off of quadrants is for the higher end homes, if you will, or homes that are more expensive. In Addison, you're looking at almost a 3,000 square foot home and $770,000, which is about a 4-bed, 2.5 bath. Now on the lower end, so the lower priced homes in Addison are in the lower quadrant of 540,000, just about 2,000 square feet, 3-bed, 2 bath. So what you're gonna notice here is that the difference in square footage is not that large. It's not that vast. There's not super duper incredibly large homes, but there's also not really small homes that you might see with more established areas like Irving, as an example. Irving typically has, or historically has had, smaller sized homes in the lower quadrant. Bedford is another city that happens to have that type of feel as well. All right. So let's continue. As you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Gladly bring you up, and we'll have a conversation about whatever is on your mind. But for our purposes today, we're going to shoot for this. We're going to shoot for a $665,000 home. That is the math that we're going to go and build towards. So we are putting the scenario in place that we want to buy in Addison. I'm going to show you property taxes. I'm going to show you real estate price, which is what you're seeing right now. I'm going to show you everything that you're going to need to calculate in order to purchase in Addison. So we're going to go with Addison, and we're going to say, hey, we want to buy a house for $665,000. So we're going to go over here and type this in, because I am notorious for forgetting this. And as I say that, I got to go back, make sure. Yeah. This is the price that we're shooting for. Now, this max price calculator is designed for us to put in just a few numbers that we control, that we have access to, that we can instantly just put in here, and then it's going to spit out the most that we can afford, the max price that we can purchase. So it's going to give you different scenarios that you might consider in your home purchase. So this is also linked down below. Go to the description and also download it as quickly as you can. It is no cost to you, so make sure that you go down there and download this as quickly as you can. So you're going to see the exact way to use it as I go through this math, and you're going to be able to replicate it regardless of the city that you're looking to purchase in. But today we're looking at Addison 100%. All right, so with that being said, let's take one more pit stop before we head and plant out the rest of the scenario for us today and do this. Let's go to our website, so jaimericenes.exprealty.com, and what I want to show you is the inventory right now, because once we start talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's a little bit difficult for us to really identify or really comprehend how much of a house we can actually purchase, right? So right now, when it comes to the MLS, so the multiple listing service, which is the service that we use as real estate agents to put inventory into the market, there's about 58 homes available for sale right now in Addison, and the average price point right now is $879,000. Let me go back. I forgot to exclude something. We are only looking for single families. And I'm going to show you what we have available right now. All right, so remember what we're shooting for. We're shooting for $665,000. So Addison in and of itself has a small geographic footprint, which means that there's not going to be as many homes available. And you're seeing that right now based off of the results. We only have 16 homes, single family homes. Now, the reason that you saw that higher number and more more options in the searches because it's including a lot of condos, it's including a lot of townhomes, it's including those types of properties, which Addison happens to have a ton of. So single family residences, of course they exist, but you're seeing more condos, you're seeing more townhomes, really, not really condos, townhomes in Addison. All right, so with that being said, here is what we're looking at. So the lowest priced home right now, single family residence in the city of Addison, is $495,000. You see 2,000 square feet, 3 bed, 3 bath, right? And then it jumps, we completely bypass the 500,000 and jump right into the 639,000. So this lets me know, hey, there's probably some work that needs to be done on this property. And it's not abnormal, especially when you're talking about the lowest priced home in the entire city. Right? So you quickly get into 700s, into the 800s, into the a million. That's a very interesting kitchen right there. And then into the multi-million-dollar properties. So check out. You didn't know that there was a $5.2 million home in the city of Addison, did you? So let's see. It's going to take me off to another. Just out of curiosity, let's see what's going on. Here we go. It's going to be difficult today. We're not going to do that. All right. So again, just go down to the description and see the properties that you can purchase. But for our purposes today, let's dive right into it. $665,000. That is what we're looking at today. All right. Let's zoom in right here. Down payment. How much are you going to put as a down payment in the purchase of your home? Now, if you're buying cash, your down payment's 100%. That means that that's how much cash you're bringing to the closing table. But most of us are going to be getting a loan. So what is the down payment that you're going to be putting on the purchase of your home? Depending on the loan product that you go with, you're probably going to have different requirements. So as an example, if you're going with an FHA loan, the minimum down payment that you can do is 3.5%. If you're getting a conventional loan, the minimum down payment there is going to be 3%. So it's the minimum. That's the lowest percentage that you can put down. So if you're doing a conventional loan at 3%, you're just going to put 0.03 times whatever that happens to be, which is $665,000. That gives you the down payment. Now, all the calculations are going to happen on tab number 3. Again, this is linked down below. Go down to the description and get it. For our purposes today, we're just putting information that we need to have down here. So we're going to say that we're going to put 5% down on the purchase of this home. Why 5%? Well, that's a very common down payment percentage that a lot of our clients go with. So we just plant real life scenarios that we see over and over and over again, but you're free to put 10%. You're free to put 3.5%. If you're getting a conventional loan, you're free to put whatever percentage you want here. Just give you some general guidelines to abide by. Interest rate. This is something that is going to be market dependent. This is going to be, by the time you're watching this video, it could be in the 10s. It could also be in the 5s. Don't count on it being in the 2s like it was in the past. However, with that being said, the interest rate is something that actually all the time, you're going to want to go and search for what the interest rate is happening or happens to be at the point in time that you're looking to purchase. So what we're going to do is mortgage interest rates today. We're just going straight to Google and we're going to find that information. We're going to get a loan amount of 600,000. We'll say 700. It's not going to sway the number that much anyway. All right, so about a $700,000 down payment, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to give ourselves a average credit. We're not going to give us an 800 and above. We're also not going to give us a 580. We're going to give ourselves a 720. Now, look and see what the 30-year is, because most of us, actually, not just you, are going to be getting that type of rate. So as you can see here, historically in the past couple of months, where the interest rate has been. So as you can see, you may be closing on a home 1 month and it might be one rate, and if you wait Another month, it could be a different rate. And in fact, it will be a different rate. So you see here for a little while, it was over 7.5%, the 30-year that is. And then right now, we're just below the 7.5%. Now, this is a ballpark. This is a range. This is not, of course, a exact number. What's going to affect this percentage up or down is going to be the amount of loan that you get. That's something that's going to affect it. The amount of down payment that you put down. If you put more down payment or less down payment, it's going to change it. But something that's going to really impact it is going to be your credit score. If you have a pristine credit score, check out what happens. So 7.31, it drops below a 7, right? That's a 4 swing. Now, if we have let me go back so you see it. 7.3 is what the number that we're going to use for our calculation today. But let's just say we barely got approved, because you can get approved at 580, except you're going to need to put a significant amount of money down. And also, well, I'll show you what it's going to do. Oops. Let's go. It doesn't even calculate it for us. Oh, come on now. All right, so the lowest that it'll give us is 620. Which is 1% difference. This is why credit is so important. So if you can, I'm not saying don't buy, but I'm also, when it comes to your home search, one of the biggest things that I share with clients is, if you're curious, if you're real estate curious, just book a call with us. You might not have plans to move until like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, but I would much rather you have the information right now and get you enough time to prepare, because if you this is the number one thing that keeps a lot of our clients from actually purchasing a home, is the credit score. Yes, income factors in and all that fun stuff, which is what we're calculating today. But for the most part, you have a general understanding based off of how much income you have, what you're going to be able to purchase. However, it's the credit score that holds us back a lot. A lot of our clients, there's really 3 big things that we look for with our clients: what type of income you're making right now, how much you have for down payment, and then your credit score. Most of the time, our clients are pretty good with the first 2. It's that third one. It's that third one that gets us in trouble. It's that credit score that gets us in trouble, that puts us into a situation where we don't really qualify for the home that we want. I'm going down a tangent, but just really what I want to encourage you here to do is do this simulation. Do this right now for your sake, to really see where the credit score, if you can wait a month, 3 months, 6 months before you purchase, as you're building your credit score, you're going to see how drastic it changes your interest rate, which is going to have a huge impact on the amount that you pay per month. All right, let's continue. This is not a finance class. This is this is, in a way, we're doing finance, but that's not what this is. How long is your mortgage? 30 years is pretty standard, but you can get a 15-year if you choose. There's up to 40-year loans now, but 30 years is still the standard that's going to happen. Property tax rates. This is really why you're here. I'd like to think that there's a lot of value that you're going to find in this particular video, but property tax rates is really what most of our clients, and how most of our clients, that's where they find a ton of value in the way that we explain it and the way that we provide information, so we really understand what this does for our real estate and our real estate decisions. Property taxes, something that in the grand scheme of things is on the higher end when it comes to Texas altogether. Texas is the 6th highest property tax rate state in the union, in the country. So New Jersey's number 1. So this means that property taxes is a way of life here. Second, doesn't matter if you own your home outright or you are paying a monthly mortgage payment, you are paying property taxes. Property taxes are going to be with yourself. You're going to be paying property taxes until you sell that home. So just have that awareness. And the third thing is, property tax rates vary from city to city across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So while we are going to calculate Addison today, it's going to be different than Plano. It's going to be different than McKinney. It's going to be different than Frisco. So that's what we're going to factor in today. So we're going to go and search for that. We'll search for that right now, and then I'll give a really very, very detailed breakdown of what rates we're actually looking for. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go with Addison, Texas property tax rate. Again, this is just straight Google. I'm going to show you where to go to calculate this. Ideally, when you search for this, ideally you want to go straight to the website of the city. So here we have AddisonTexas.net, AddisonTexas.net. Ideally, you want to go to the city itself, and ideally, the city website is going to be perfect. It's going to show you the exact percentage that you can use. Most of the time, it won't. 99% of the time, it won't. So that's why I want to show you and give you the tools so you can calculate this yourself. Now, if you cannot get the information from the website itself, go to the county website. Try to avoid the third-party websites like this smartasset.com, ownwell.com, the attorney websites. These are third-party websites that are notorious for being wrong. So make sure that you go with the city to the best of your ability. So let's see. Let's see what Addison has. Yeah. Nope. This is not what we need. And I'll share with you once I find what we actually need. I'll share with you what we're looking for. Yeah. So the website in of itself, as you can see, is not going to have what we need. Unfortunate. What we're looking for is really put up to 5 numbers that we're going to add together. We're looking for the city tax rate, the county tax rate, the ISD tax rate, and potentially a hospital network tax rate and a higher education tax rate. And we're adding those together. A ballpark standpoint, we're looking about 1.8% to about 3%. That's where most of the cities are going to fall in. So the lowest property taxes that you're going to find in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex are going to be roughly 1.8%. The highest is going to be up to the 3%. So that Addison is somewhere in between. So now our responsibility is to find what that number actually is. As you can see, the city itself doesn't make it easy. So we're going to have to go to the county and see what we got. All right, so this is the Dallas CAD property tax estimator. I don't really favor this, but it's the best to our. It's going to be the best that we can do at this point in time. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the Dallas County one. Actually, we're going to put the market value of 100,000 just to have a round number. We're going to go and find Addison. And then we're going to find. Okay, I forgot this. I think. We're looking for the. It's not Carrollton. It's not Farmers Branch. It's actually both. Yeah. So Addison does not have an ISD by itself. So depending on where your city is, depending on where the home is, you're probably either going to be here in the Carrollton Farmers ISD, or you're going to be in the Dallas ISD. So whenever you're searching for a home in Addison, look at your ISD, and you're going to need to divide it in between those two. Not between those two. It'll let you know what ISD your particular city, your particular home is in. For our purposes today, just to keep it as clean as we possibly could, we're just going to do Dallas ISD. But let's zoom in so I can really illustrate the point. Look at the difference between 1.01, which is Dallas ISD, and the other ISD. 0.03%, I think is. No, 0.003%. So Dallas is 1.01, and here we have 0.98. Now, I know that particular change is subtle, but it's still a change, right? So we need to understand what that difference is. But we're going to stick with Dallas so we can have a higher number. Once we have this information, Special district is very rare that you're going to be in a special district, so we're not going to factor that in. Once you have that number, we're using 100,000 just to have a round number that we're going to use. But what I want to show you here is those 5 numbers that we're looking for. The city ISD, so you have Addison. The county ISD, which is Dallas County. The ISD, Addison doesn't have its own ISD. It depends on where you live. You're either going to Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD or you're going to Dallas ISD. So as you saw a difference there. And so that's the third. Parkland Hospital and college. The higher education one is Dallas colleges. So if you were over in Fort Worth as an example, or the Tarrant side of town, there you're looking at my gosh, why am I blanking? What community college? I'm blanking right now. Sorry, I just came back from a trip, so my apologies. NCTC, my goodness. All right, so here we go. Estimated taxes is $2,100, so that means that it's 2.17%. So we're going to put 217. Don't worry about putting a percentage or a decimal here. We're just looking at this. So the property tax rate is 2.17%. Now I know I went through a lot of different screens, and I know you're thinking, man, that's a lot of work. It's really not. It's just some cities make it so plain as day. Some cities will actually just straight up give you the number. But what I want you to avoid is doing a simple search like you just saw and taking, let's just go and illustrate the point right here. Let's just say Addison right there, 0.609. What happens too often with so many of our clients is, and just people in general, I'm not just picking on our own clients. That's not cool. But look what happens oftentimes is, all right, we know that we need to pay property taxes, and we're coming from California. We get so many Californians right now. And we have to figure out, what are these property taxes that all these Texans are talking about? They say that it's high. Well, I'm going to type in Addison, Texas property tax rate because that's where we're going to go. So I'm going to click on that. And once I click on that, I see, okay, cool, property tax rate. All right, well, that's what I'm looking for. And I go over here and I see, oh, well, it looks like property taxes are going higher, but it's 0.608%. That's not all that bad. And that's where they stop. And as you see, that would be a wildly undershot. So they would be putting 0.0, what was over here? Instead of this number being that, it would be 0.06 or whatever percentage, as opposed. So it's almost 4 times as much, the actual property tax rate. So that's a big mistake, right? So then we're talking about undershooting it by so much. And when we're talking about a value that high, we're talking about thousands of dollars worth of a mistake. So I don't want that for you. So this is why I go through the 20 minutes to explain what property taxes are, where they're coming from, exactly how to calculate them, so you don't fall into the same trap and make the mistake of believing that your property tax rate is 0.6% when in reality is 2 point something, and then you're out thousands of dollars, or at least your budget is off by thousands of dollars every single year. Insurance rate. So you will need to have your home insured if you have a loan on that. Even if you don't have a loan, even if you buy it straight cash, please insure your home. It's just please insure your home. What we do here is just give a reasonable projection, a reasonable estimate, and for you to do that on your own home right now, all you have to do is 0.75%. This is what this is. I know the point isn't here, but this particular calculator was built a little bit different. So 0.75% times that, it's going to give you the yearly premium. And then in the following tab, you're going to see how we break that up. So you see what you're actually paying, estimate the estimate of what you would be paying in home insurance. For the mortgage insurance rate, we're saying that we have a conventional loan with good credit. So let's take a quick second here to explain what the heck this is. So mortgage insurance, what does that mean? if you put anything less than 20% down on the purchase of your home with a conventional loan or with a FHA loan, if you put anything less than 20% down, you're paying what's called mortgage insurance. Why is that the case? Well, the bank is saying you don't have enough skin in the game, so we're going to actually put out we're going to get an insurance in the event that you default. We're not out as much money. So essentially they're putting an insurance on your particular self, if you will, or your particular loan that that's going to help the bank cover their butts. In other words, they're trying to make as much money from you as possible in the event that things go sideways before they have to repossess a house in the event that you don't pay. That's essentially what's happening. So that means that in addition to the interest that you're paying already for the loan itself, you're going to be paying an additional percentage, an additional you call it fee, you can call it percentage, you can call it expense, you can call it whatever, you call it whatever you want, but you're paying something additional per month. And here's the difference between two products, loan products. If you have a conventional loan, once you get over 20% equity, so let's just say in both scenarios, whether you got an FHA loan or a conventional loan, you put 5% down and you start making payments. Month after month, you're making payments. Once the conventional loan gets above 20% down, this mortgage insurance, so this additional amount that you're paying per month, which you'll see what that ends up being, goes away. Under the FHA amount, under the FHA loan, it doesn't matter if you are 20% owner equity at that point, 50%, 100%. It doesn't matter where you are, you're paying that for the life of the loan. So that doesn't go away. So that's a big difference between FHA and conventional. For our purposes today, again, we are using the mortgage insurance. We're using a conventional good credit estimate, if you will. And I'm going to show you what that ends up breaking down to. So HOA fees with Addison, you're going to have HOAs. And in fact, it's going to be towards the higher end. So I'm going to put $400. That's going to be a reasonable amount for your HOA, depending on your community, depending on where you're living. It could be higher, it could be lower, but you most likely will have an HOA. If you buy a home that is not within an HOA in Addison, give me a call because I would like to purchase and be your neighbor. I'm kidding. But yeah, Addison will have HOA. So just prepping you for that. All right, so we're not going to worry about the income tax rate right now. We're just going to go into making our calculations. So let's just say we make $100,000. We make $100,000 right now, and that's the number that you're going to be bringing to the table. This is what you see. This is what you have access to. You know how much you're making per year, so you're just going to put the gross income right here. Now, what you also want to do in order to make this calculation work, in order for you to really see what the max price is that you can purchase for, you're going to need to include your debt. So this means car loans. This means credit cards. This means you need personal loans. This means child support, student loans. Any type of debt that you have, you're going to add it here. So just name your debt and then put the amount over here. This is your calculator. So just go down to the description, get it. Now just go to File and go to Make a Copy once you get access to this document, because you cannot edit the one that I'm using right now, which is the exact same one that I give you in the link that you see. So all you have to do is just go make a copy and you can input your information. Now, the reason I say that is because this is a document that you own. Don't be afraid to put your information here because it's not mine. This is something that you control on your end. So it's going to go into your Google Drive. All right, so your yearly gross income is there. Your debt, what's your debt? What monthly payments you're making on that debt? The minimum monthly payments is going right here. For our purposes today, we're actually not going to put anything here. We're just going to keep it as clean as possible. But one thing I do want to remind you of is don't put expenses. So when it comes to rent, groceries, utilities, and phone, things like that, the expenses like living expenses, do not go here. That has already been factored in the ratios that we've put in here and that your lender has. So that's what's called debt to income ratio. So the percentage that is already been factored in has already been factored in based off of the expenses that you have. With that being said, if you have a co-borrower, so if somebody else is going to be on the loan, whether it's a spouse or a friend or whatever, you have it right here. So you just put their income, same thing, any debt that they might have, and the minimum monthly payment. And that's it. I know I went through a lot, but once you have this information down, it's going to be easy for you to just swap out. It's going to be so easy for you to just swap out. Because now we need to find out what is the max that we can purchase for. So we're going to go over to the monthly mortgage payment on tab 3. We're going to come back up here, but I want to give a huge shout out to the creator of this particular tool, which is a tool that we use in-house with our clients every single day, and that's Kyle Seagrace with Win the House You Love. So go make sure that you pay a like and a subscribe over to his YouTube channel. So Kyle Seagrace with Win the House You Love here on YouTube is the creator of this max price calculator. And he's a good friend that we collaborate with all the time. So go over and pay some gratitude towards the creator of this tool, which again is a tool that we use here internally with our discovery calls all the time. All right, so with that being said, what does this mean for us? Based off of the scenario that we just planted and we make $100,000, can we afford to purchase a home in the city of Addison? The answer is no. The most that we can afford right now is a $400,000 home, which is actually not even the lower quadrant that we looked at earlier. So what does this mean? This means that we need to go to our boss and say, yo, I need a raise. I need right now, let's just see how much I can afford if I make $150,000. Not quite. So let's go back to our boss real quick and just say, what if I made $155,000? Oops. Not quite. We're going to put 165. Right now I'm just playing around with the numbers to see where they're at. All right, so the number that we're trying to shoot for is, just so you kind of see what we're talking about, this number right here, $665,000. We need the number to hit that. Now, although technically we could get this done, I don't like it being in the risky category. I like the loan amount, and I'll explain what these mean here in 2 seconds, being between moderate and aggressive. So here, I need the $665,000 to be in between this number, and as you can see, it's more than that. So we need to go back to our boss and get a little bit more of a raise. And we're going to say $175,000. That should do it. And here we go. So that $665,000 that we were shooting for is in between the moderate and the aggressive. So for our purposes today, we say that we need $175,000 in yearly income in order to purchase a home in Addison. Now let's break this down. What does this mean? This is broken down into different, think of them as risk tolerances. If you're looking to buy in Addison, we break things down based off of your income, and also it lets you know if you let's just say if you purchase a home for $385,000, that's what we would deem a safe purchase, a purchase that is not gonna take up as much of your net income per month, so you don't feel like you're just struggling to make it every single month. So here it's about 33% of your net income if you buy a home of $383,000 in value. Now, if you buy a home of $553,000 in value, your monthly mortgage payment is going to be $5,200 per month, and that's 47% of your net income. This is where most of the loans end up being. This is where most of our clients end up going. They get a moderate to an aggressive style loan, based off of the ratios, based off of the income and also the value of the home. Now, could you afford to buy a home that's $700,000 plus and it be $6,700 of per month? Yes, you could technically get approved for that. There will be a lender that will lend you this money. The challenge becomes with the fact that it's going to be incredibly challenging to get approved because you would need to have really good credit, really good credit. But technically you could get approved for that. So just want to give you realistic scenarios. This is why we go to moderate, in between moderate and aggressive. So for our purposes today, we have a $665,000 home purchase in Addison. In order for us to make that happen, we would need to make $175,000. That is what it ends up being. Now, with that being said, let's go back up here and break down what that monthly mortgage payment would look like. So for our purposes today, we're done with the calculation. We need $175,000 to purchase a home in Addison. So what I'm doing right now is I'm manipulating this number. I'm manipulating that number so I can show you the math. I'm almost there. So don't worry about this right now. That's very close. So we're going to pretend this number says $665,000, which means that if we purchase the home in Addison at $665,000, our monthly mortgage payment is going to be about $6,300. Now, if we were going to purchase this home at 5% down, we would need to bring $33,000 to the table. On top of that, we would also need to cover the estimated closing costs, which is going to be $16,000. So if we add these together, we would need to come to the table with, what's that? $50,000? So $50,000 is what we would need to come to the closing table with. So if we were to purchase a home in Addison, put 5% down, factoring in closing costs, and based off of the scenario that we laid out here of the interest rate, the property tax rate, and everything in between, we would need to come to the closing table with $50,000, 50. Now, our monthly mortgage payment, what is that comprised of? The principal and interest would be about $4,300, and that's not going to change assuming you get a fixed loan, which most of you will be getting a fixed loan. So the principal and interest is not going to go away until you end up purchasing the home altogether. At the beginning, the amount that goes to the principal, which is essentially what you borrowed, is going to be about $1. not very much is going to go to the principal. What the bulk of the payment's going to go towards is the interest, how much you're being charged to borrow that money. So most of it's going to go to the interest of this amount, but which is going to get, it's going to be fixed. But most at the beginning of the loan, most of it goes to satisfy the interest. So as you make more and more payments, as the years go by, you're going to start seeing that change. More and more is going to go towards the principal, and less is going to go to the interest until you hit your 30-year mark and you end up purchasing your home outright. Property taxes. Look at this number right here. Look at that number right here. Even though it's going to adjust a lot of different things. Well, actually, it shouldn't adjust too much. Look at that number right there. $1,200 a month in property taxes alone. Now, this is a little bit conservative. I don't want to get into the difference between market value and assessed value. I have other videos in this YouTube channel that talk about that. But this is a conservative number. It's going to be a little bit less than this, but just give you a realistic scenario. But look at that number, $1,200 per month. What would have happened if we would have just said, I know it's 0.08% or whatever, but let's just say, what if we would have said it's 1%? We're talking about $600, and that's 1%. I know it's actually less than that. Let's just say $700. We would have missed a $700 a month line item every single month in the purchase of our home. And mind you, like your max price changes significantly. So here you're thinking, I can purchase a larger home or a home that's more valuable, in other words, more expensive, and I have less property tax liability. That will crush you. Now, of course, a lender won't really approve you for that. That you would find the mistake sooner rather than later. However, I would much rather you have the right information going into this altogether, right? So that's how important it is that you know how to calculate this property tax rate. And that's why I spend 20 minutes showing you where to go with this information, because the cities do not make it easy. So it's important to understand where these 5 numbers that we go and find come from. The city tax rate, the county tax rate, the ISD tax rate, higher education tax rate, and the hospital network tax rate. Now, not all cities are going to have those other 2 that I just talked about, the higher education and the hospital network, but it's important for you to know that those could potentially exist based off of the city that you're buying in. Homeowner's insurance. This is an estimate. It could be higher, it could be lower per month. Just it's going to depend on the value of the home for sure. Also, the coverage that you're looking for and everything in between. Mortgage insurance. This is that percentage that we were talking about earlier. This mortgage insurance right here. We're saying that if you have a conventional loan, then you are paying this amount up until you get 20% plus equity ownership in that home, then this goes away. Now, if you have an FHA loan, you're paying this amount of mortgage insurance every single month for the life of the loan. Homeowners Association. This is included in here just for awareness. Nothing more, nothing less. This is actually not going to be factored into your monthly mortgage payment. This is something that you pay at the beginning of the year, around January. And it's going to go directly to the HOA. This does not get collected in your monthly mortgage payment. We just like to make you aware that homeowner association dues are based off of the property that you're purchasing, and as a housing or a real estate cost that you need to be aware of. All right, so let's go down. Let's scroll down. I just want to show you one more quick thing here. One thing that I want to show you is this tool right here. So the comparing home offers. Once you get into the heat of battle, things are going to go so fast. But this is why I want you to fill this out ahead of time, because once you're in the heat of battle and you can, offer less, or you have to offer more depending on the stakes of that purchase of the home, you get to see, let's just say if you were able to purchase the home for less. Hey, if we offer less, if we offer 5% less or something like that, what's that going to do to our down payment? What's that going to do to our closing cost? What's that going to do for our monthly mortgage payment? Right? So you get to see just some real life scenarios, right? So if we offer 5% more, what's that going to do for our monthly mortgage payment? And there's a lot of other calculations here that I encourage you to go and check out once you download this. It is linked down below. Again, one last reminder, this is linked down below, so make sure that you download it. Folks, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out. Don't let any questions that you might have about real estate go unanswered, because you're talking about a huge, huge expense in your life. So if we can be of any service for you, feel free to contact us. Our information is down below. And also our email is admin@jaimeresidences.com. Glad to support you in any way that we can. Outside of that, I'll see you on the next one.